they're worried about Africans someday coming out, rising up, and being able to establish their own without the need of their former slave masters. So...
And it's dangerous being able to look after yourself.
Yeah.
It is dangerous. It's dangerous when you don't need anyone. The what keeps people in power is that need.
The need, yeah.
The need part.
Keeping people indebted to you.
Yeah.
And that's what Kanye feels like, that we've been exploited for a very long time. I would say coming out of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery in America getting to a point of abolishment, which we were the last country to abolish slavery. UK had abolished it. Some of the Dahomey people, which are in the film The Woman King, that tribe was still trafficking Africans to America. They were still capturing Africans and trying to enslave Africans. And this was a tribe in Africa that was actively assisting and helping American slave traders still continue on this travesty. But nevertheless, post-slavery, we were released back into society without an understanding of how to regather our community and how to rebase and reshape ourselves. And I think for America, they felt a great fear in that. I think they've had a great bit of resentment that these former Africans that were property, now they're free. And on top of that, we had a lot of influence from the Christian community and from the Islamic community. So in the 1960s, and it's been noted by multiple people, Russell Simmons, as of lately, made a few statements about how the Jewish community helped during civil rights. I think I was saying to you before, there's footage of Bernie Sanders helping out at a protest that was going on in the 1960s, and he's being hosed down with water. So we ended up with what we would consider other allies, for our cause for civil rights. But how Kanye and quite a few other people see it is that the Jewish community got involved in the civil rights movement to usher us out of the way of joining any Islamic influence.
The white man pays Reverend Martin Luther King, subsidizes Reverend Martin Luther King, so that Reverend Martin Luther King can continue to teach the Negroes to be defenseless. That's what you mean by nonviolence. Be defenseless. Be defenseless in the face of one of the most cruel beasts that has ever taken the people into captivity. That's just the American white man.
Malcolm X did serve a role. I think he played a role in pointing out the problem, calling attention to it, but his great problem was an inability to emerge with a solution.
Martin Luther King Jr. was killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee, shot in the face as he stood alone on the balcony of his hotel room. He died in a hospital an hour later. Last night, he said this:
I just want to do God's will.
Ain't never hurt nobody.
And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
When King's message of nonviolence ended in his violent death, folks finally realized that they couldn't pray their way to freedom. Just what the Panthers had been saying all along. America was burning. Nationwide, our enrollment doubled in 2 weeks.
We feel that the problem, number one, of the black man in America is beyond America's ability to solve. It's a human problem, not an American problem or a Negro problem. And as a human problem or a world problem, we feel that it should be taken out of the jurisdiction of the United States government and the United States courts and taken into the United Nations in the same manner that the problems of the black man in South Africa, Angola, and other parts of the world, and even the way they're trying to bring the problems of the Jews in Russia into the United Nations because of violation of human rights. We believe that our problem is one not of violation of civil rights, but a violation of human rights. Not only are we denied the right to be a citizen in the United States, we're denied the right to be a human being.
Mr. X, may I thank you very much for coming on our program and perhaps clearing away some of the cobwebs of misconception that some of us might have had about your belief. And I think you're a very sincere man, and it takes a lot of courage to admit a former belief is wrong, and we congratulate you for that and the service you performed tonight in giving us your views. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, this is Pruitt. He'll be working with us from here on in.
But isn't he?
Special people for special problems.
Sorry, I didn't know the FBI had...
Obviously, there are many things that you don't know. Should we just get to the point? The Black Panthers have united with other organizations sponsored by the communists to undermine our efforts in Vietnam. In the opinion of Mr. Hoover, the Black Panther Party is public enemy #1. They have quite simply guaranteed their own extinction.
Jesus.
You know, I really don't even need to say that your department's handling of the Black Panthers, in particular Inspector Brimmer's so-called undercover operation, has been a complete travesty. Memos from the commissioner, etc., backing Mr. Hoover's decision to place the Black Panther Party and their subversive activities under the full jurisdiction of the Bureau.
Tale that history has told about who killed Malcolm X.
I apologize on behalf of our nation's law enforcement for this decades-long injustice.
After a nearly 2-year investigation, 2 of the 3 people convicted in the 1965 assassination of the world-famous civil rights icon, Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam, have now been exonerated.
I regret that this court cannot fully undo the serious miscarriages of justice.
Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance telling a judge after revisiting the nearly 60-year-old case that the FBI and NYPD withheld evidence that may have cleared the 2 men decades ago.
The FBI lied, the NYPD lied, and the DA's office admitted that it also made false statements.
The release of a deathbed confession of a former undercover New York police officer who admitted to being part of a broad New York police and FBI conspiracy targeting Malcolm. In the confession, the former officer, Raymond Wood, who died last year, admitted he entrapped 2 members of Malcolm's security team in another crime, a plot to blow up the Statue of Liberty, just days before the assassination. On Saturday, Ray Wood's cousin Reggie Wood read the letter at a news conference at the Shabazz Center in Harlem.
It was my assignment to draw the 2 men into a felonious federal crime so that they could be arrested by the FBI and kept away from managing Malcolm X's Audubon ballroom door security on February 21st, 1965.
In his letter, Raymond Wood also revealed he was inside the Audubon ballroom at the time of Malcolm's assassination. At least one other undercover New York police officer, Gene Roberts, was also inside after infiltrating the security team of the Organization of Afro-American Unity, the group Malcolm founded after leaving the Nation of Islam. Both officers, Wood and Roberts, were part of the Bureau of Special Services and Investigations, or BOSSI, a secretive political intelligence unit of the NYPD nicknamed the Red Squad. Following Malcolm's assassination, police arrested 3 members of the Nation of Islam for his murder, but questions about the guilt of the men have lingered for decades. In his letter, Raymond Wood openly says one of the men, Thomas Johnson, was innocent and was arrested to, quote, protect my cover and the secrets of the FBI and the NYPD, unquote.
They didn't want us being affiliated with anything that had anything to do with the Islamic community. There was a lot of great fear around the Black Panther Party. There was a lot of fear around Malcolm X and what the Nation of Islam meant and what they stood for. And the Nation of Islam pretty much was saying, hey, let us feed, gather, clothe, shelter our own. Let us manage our own community and let us just coexist and we'll be fine. But leave us be, let us have our own. Martin Luther King, who is always referenced, he's in a racial situation, they bring up Martin Luther King every single time. It's like guaranteed across the board.
Yeah.
Kanye just had this interview with Lex Wessner or something. Not Wessner, but Lex. He's a podcaster who happens to be of Jewish descent. And that was Lex's go-to point. He mentions, Martin Luther King had a dream. And so I would go back to Martin Luther King, Kanye. Look, Martin Luther King had a dream, but his whole philosophy was that I want to fit in. I want to be a part of America. Africans deserve to be a part of America. But what Malcolm X understood that Malcolm didn't get is that when you live for inclusion, you're at the mercy of your oppressor.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you want to watch more clips, click here.
And if you want to watch the full podcast, click right here.